We are sitting on an ethical line here, Sean. The
You're
problem
right.
is that one annoys the shit out of me, and that's worse than being morally wrong.
Welcome back, everybody, to Anime Fray Saber Slay podcast. This is for the summer season. We got 12 shows. I am Sean. I am joined by only 2 guests this time.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
Hi, I'm Nathan, or Alka. Some people might refer to me as both.
Yeah, we'll probably go between them. We
Nice.
actually only had 12 shows to pick from. The shows are not sequels. The shows are generally standalone. They're not short form, which really meant we didn't have a lot of things to go with thanks to COVID pushing a lot of things out of summer and just also not being able to touch anything we were going to do for the spring before that got ruined. But we do have 12 shows, and I'll give us a quick introduction to each of them. We have Cinderella Nine Re, which is a baseball show. I picked it. We have Deca-Dence, which is a sci-fi show. I picked it. We have Gibiate, which is an action show picked by Dylan.
Good,
We have
good description.
Great Pretender. We'll talk. We have Great Pretender, which is a drama. I'm gonna call it a mystery drama, picked by Nathan. We have Lapis, which is a school music show, picked by Dylan. We have
Gotta love me some idols. Right,
Monster
Dylan?
Girl Doctor, which is a show picked by Dylan.
A show about what?
About
A
what?
Monster Girl Doctor.
Yes.
We have Mr. Love's Queen's Choice, which is a dating sim turned into an anime. That was me. I picked it. We have Rent a Girlfriend, picked by one of our friends, Tanner. Thank you. We have Superheroes. It has an X in between the H and the E for reasons. Picked by our buddy Mike, who has such tremendous taste in anime, a real fan of Plunderer, which if
All
you
right, all right, all right, all right,
listen
all
to the
right.
podcast, you know the history of that. The God of High School, picked by our buddy Sawyer. It's a tournament, that's all the show is.
The Shore is a tournament arc.
The Misfit of Demon Academy, picked by Nathan. It is probably our fantasy show of the season. And then we have Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, picked by Nathan.
I had to bite the bullet on that one. I was forced
It
to pick
is
it.
it is also it is also a show. So
I was
we're
forced to
gonna
pick it. I just want to preface
For legal
everything about that
reasons.
show with that.
we've watched 2 episodes of 2 shows and 3 episodes of everything else. Some of these shows have 4 episodes out. Some of these shows have all of their episodes out because they aired technically not this season, but they meet our criteria for reasons. Some of these shows we have a little bit more time with, thankfully. Some of them we don't. I
Also,
wish
thankfully.
I wish other shows we had less time with, but here we are. So I think we should just get underway to try to keep this as a quicker intro because man, 12 shows is a lot. So let's try not to spend too much time. I'll kick us off with Cinderella 9. Cinderella 9 is, as I mentioned, a baseball show. This is about a group of high school girls who decide they want to start a female baseball team that their school doesn't have, so it's more of a club than an actual sporting activity. It consists of characters who only one of them actually plays baseball at the start. The rest of them are all people who have other interests to get involved. Our main character played on a mixed team in her little league, and we have a rival character who's introduced at the end of the 3rd episode who also played on an opposing mixed team and made it all the way to the finals. I believe winning is what they said. So we have a couple of characters. Our main character, Tsubasa, she is the actual character with any baseball experience. Her best friend Tomoe, who doesn't really know anything, who only knows baseball because she watched Tsubasa play. We have Yuki, who is a really tall student. She used to play basketball, but I don't remember if her thing is she got very exhausted easily or she just was relied on too heavily. I don't know if we've dived too deep into that from episode 1. We have Akane, who is a very small child. She's also the same age as them, but she just looks like a very small child and wears a cat hoodie, and I don't know how she's gonna play baseball. We have Waka, who is, I believe she's the reporter. The last 3 characters, I don't remember exactly who's who. No, Waka is her older brother plays on an actual university team, is really good at baseball. We have Ayaka, who's the reporter, and then we have Yoshiimi, who's like a cheerleader. I might have one or two of those names mixed. Basically, episode 1 is the creation of the club. and then them trying to create the club despite them not having enough people, and then they go and they do a practice game with some kids, and they start to have fun. People start to enjoy baseball. Episode 2, they have to find a place to play, so it's them getting some equipment, making a field that works for them. Episode 3 is kind of them getting in the handle of practicing, and then they start to recruit a few more members, and then it ends with them at batting cages, getting used to actually swinging the bat. So the show really takes its time to explain this is how you hold the ball when you throw it, this is how you catch it with the actual glove, this is how you hold the bat to swing it. It isn't going too in depth yet because they don't need to go super in depth because none of these girls know how to play baseball but one of them. It's okay. My thoughts on it is it's okay. It's a sports show about people playing a sport, getting to know each other. I have to see more with where it goes and how fast it actually takes them to get into a game. It's only a 13 episode show, so like there can't be that many games, but I could be proven wrong. I'd like to actually see them play a baseball game, but they still obviously need, I think, like 3 or 4 more members to be like an actual team. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not a bad show.
So, so this show, I like to think of it as like, if you're a little kid and you have like an older sibling, say like an older brother who plays games, they're like playing like MLB The Show, right? And they're playing like those really like cool baseball games. And it's like, they know all the players and stuff. And there's like those kiddie baseball games that like you play to learn. That's what this show is, basically. It's just like that one off of like an actual baseball anime, but it's not really about baseball. It's just about like right now so far, it's just like getting people together who have like different unique traits. That makes
Mhm.
sense to like try and form a team. I get what they're going for,
Yeah.
right? But like at the same time, there's some like questions I have like going through. Like this chick really wants to play baseball because she played baseball. The chick who's actually good at it
Mhm.
wants to make this team and everything. But then we find out the third episode that she won like the championship last year or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember if she won or if she. I don't remember which one of them went out of the main character and the rival character.
I think it was
Does
the
Subasu
main
win?
character won in semis, and I think they said that she was also the champion, so I assume she
Okay.
won the whole thing.
Yeah.
But could be wrong.
Yeah, it does create that weird tension between her and the new character we meet at the end of the third episode, where like she says like, "Why are you playing baseball for fun? Why aren't you trying to win?"
Yeah.
And it is a very interesting point because she could just be going somewhere else to play to be good. So it is kind of that odd. I think the show's going for the difference between playing a sport for fun and playing a sport to win. And hopefully, maybe getting to those two things can overlap at some point. Maybe. I don't know with this baseball team.
One thing that I do want to mention that was really interesting that like the show's pretty slow, but I got to give it credit for it actually has a direction. Like they're constantly building on something every episode while it may be
Mhm.
taking a while, I feel like at this point. They're still like building up to something, I feel like. The reason I really want to keep this show around personally is because I think the intro of the first episode had this amazing like 5-second blip of a scene of like a dope ass action shot in like a baseball game, and I was like, what the
You wanna
what is
you wanna see
what
that?
is this? What is this?
Oh,
I
so
wanna
you're
see
saying the sports part of the anime actually grabbed you?
this. Yeah,
That
it was
doesn't
really
happen too often.
it was really cool.
Though we have
Oh,
seen some of our sports shows top, top
Hey,
3 or top
people
5 sometimes. So
people like sports anime. They're shonen but condensed to sport. So when they actually let them play a sport, it's good. I like how they use the characters in this show. Like episode 1, Akane yeah, Akane, the really small girl, like isn't
mhm.
good at all, but is starting to like the game. And then episode 2, she's used to pull the other girl whose brother plays because she doesn't. She likes baseball, but refuses to admit she likes baseball because she's better at being like a manager and analyzing plays. So she
Yeah.
doesn't want to admit she likes it because it was something that she wasn't good at as a kid. But she looks at Akane's like, "You're so small. You're so bad. How do you have fun?"
Yeah. I think the show is yeah, it's definitely not the worst of the bunch, but it needs to start
oh, there are some
it
worse shows by far.
it needs to start like we got to start seeing some stuff,
It
right?
is
Like
It is in
and
our umbrella this season of shows that need to do something.
They're slowly building, but it's like, come on, when's it? I want to see it. I want a next episode now. I want to see something. Like even if it's like even if it's not their team's fully formed, like the batting practice, batting cages of the last episode was pretty cool. But like I want to see some plays. I want to see them like I like how they run drills, but I want to see like another like exhibition game or something where they like could show off some stuff.
I do think they're hinting at some of the positions people are gonna play. I would think Yuki, the really tall girl, might be either like a center outfielder, someone who's because she has such a far throw, or she could be a pitcher, but I don't think she's pitcher yet. But I'm interested to see how like they actually shape the team based on like personality and what they can do. We have some interesting characters like the girl who we have the gambler. I don't know her name, but
Oh
she
yeah.
exists. I forgot. We have the gambler who is a gambler because she's really good at rock paper scissors.
Rock paper scissors.
She's never lost a game to the one character at rock paper scissors, and therefore she's the best gambler in all of
and
Japan.
and then she ties with the main character, and then she decides like, no one's ever tied with me before.
I'll
I'll
put
join your
me.
team.
But then
It's like, what?
but then she has a nice moment at the batting cages where like it's clear that she has good deduction skills. Is kind of what it is because
Mhm.
she could tell that I mean it was still always a fastball coming from the batting cage, but she could tell when she had to swing at the fastball, which is better than some of the people. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff. Like I feel they're building the really small girl to like be a good like bunter on the team, like because she probably can bunt decently. So there's some interesting stuff. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but this show could be good.
Anything else you want
I
to
don't
talk
know if
about?
Nathan wants to say anything.
Yeah.
No, I think all the points have been touched.
I got a show to talk about then for our second show. It's still me, Deca-Dence. Man, I was not ready for this show to be what it is. Deca-Dence is a sci-fi action show. Our first episode, we meet the main character Natsumi. Her father is out with these people, and she snuck out as well. And we get introduced to these monsters. I don't have what they're called written down. I want to say it's like Godols or
Yeah.
Goddles or something.
Godolls.
Gadolls.
Godols.
Gadoll, I think.
Yeah, they look really cool.
The Gadoll.
I like
Yeah.
the designs a lot. But her father's out there like as a scavenger. They're humans, and then this fight, and then the monsters appear, and she gets attacked, and her father rushes her to like this ambulance, and her father's like, "I'll be back, don't worry," and then he dies because he's a dad in an anime.
I mean, he set his own death flag. Like, let's
Yeah,
be real.
but we learn that Natsume gets a robotic arm, and then that she is. Oh, I really needed to write down terms. What are they called?
Tanker.
Tankers. Thank you.
Yep.
She's a tanker, which I don't. Are all tankers humans? That's what it is. Yeah, it's humans, but they're also just called tankers.
Yeah.
And basically, they train and learn to be a part of different parts of this society that lives inside a Deca-Dence, this large mechanical fortress. And we learn a couple of characters we meet. Linmeo becomes a butcher, and she's like this stuck up girl who doesn't like Natsume, and then Natsume has a friend Faye. I think they're both butchers. No, Faye's a carver, so she goes out and actually carves the meat off of the monsters once they're defeated. And Natsume wants to go join the group that goes out and fights. They are help me out with terms, my boys.
The Power.
The Power. They have like a lot of different names for everything. Like the Power is the big name for them, and then they have other names within their ranks. But she wants to join the Power to fight the monsters, and she winds up being a cleaner. She cleans for like the first 5 years of her job, and then after that, she's supposed to go and actually fix armor of Deca-Dence itself. And she gets assigned to Kabaragi's team, this really cool old guy who doesn't really emote a lot, doesn't say a lot, but teaches her how to do things. And she starts to bother and pester him, and she starts to tell him a bunch about, why she wanted to be a part of the Power and how they won't let her in. And then we find out that Kaburagi has this pet that is one of the Godals. But it's okay. It's a safe one. He's not like the rest of them, is what we're told. The first episode is very fantasy. It's very sci-fi, and then we get episode 2, and episode 2 decides that we need to know that Deca-Dence is a corporation that is run on Eurasia, the continent, and there's this nice little bubble over it to allow it to be this not VR simulation, but this interactive game for these cyborgs that we don't learn are cyborgs until the third episode. But we get to figure out that Kabaragi's actually one of these cyborg androids, and that they play as characters. They take on models out in Deca-Dence.
Yeah, I
And
believe they're called the Gears.
yes, they're called gears, and they're super powerful race that are like more likely to go out and be a part of the power and be like a part of the fights. And Kaburagi used to be one of these high-ranking players who would go out on a squad together, hunt the monsters. They collect oxyons. It's like
Oxyone. Oxyone.
oxyone,
Oxone?
oxone. It's like I just want to call it oxygen, but it's basically like these androids' life source in a way.
And
So
like a
they
currency?
yeah, they can use that as a currency too. So they collect it from the monsters they kill. And we learned that Kaburagi was one of these top rankers. He had this squad he rolled with. There's this young up and coming player named Mikey, and there's this way that they could hack the system and make it so that they could feel pain but boost their output of power. And Kaburagi gives in and tells Mikey how he can do it, and then Mikey gets caught and the whole ranking team gets punished. They get stripped of being able to function, and Kabaragi's the only one that agrees with the head of their program and like organizer that he will go out and seek out people who are bugs. He'll seek bugs in the system, eliminate them, and bring back the chips that are in them. That leads us to episode 3, where we find out that where Kaburagi makes the realization that Natsume is a bug. She doesn't recognize like when he looks at her, she doesn't recognize what he's doing as him killing people and killing bugs and taking the chips, and there's no facial recognition for her. He finds out that when she was injured, she actually almost died and was resuscitated, but when that happened, it messed with her chip. So she's technically a bug, and he's technically supposed to be getting rid of her. And we see that Kaburagi has been not taking in the energy source and is supposed to at some point shut down. And he's just slowly getting ready to give up. And then Natsumi convinces him to train her because he's a badass fighter, and he decides to do it, and he kind of extends his period of living to do so. So he starts to train her under using the weaponry, which when you fight these monsters, they emit this barrier that messes with gravity. So they have these devices that lets them float around. There's a lot of technicals that go into that, and it's really cool, and that's kind of what I care about. And then they start to realize that Natsumi has a problem where her mechanical arm makes it difficult for her to adjust her movement. So he gets her a really cool new arm that can also be used as a weapon. And then as they go out to go and test it the first time, they are another wave of them strikes underground, and we see the little dog pet Pipe goes missing, and they chase after him. And he's also a bug, we learn, and he's also seems to be very important. Uh,
Yeah.
as Kaburagi seems to be trying to find him, and Minato, who seems to be the head of the Deca-Dence as a human, from what it seems, has assigned him to Kaburagi to keep and knows Kaburagi keeps it. And it seems like they're kind of hiding the fact that it exists. And it's now down with all of the warriors who are fighting the monsters. And we're left on the scene of Natsumi looking out over the underground battlefield. I like this show. It's just really, I was not expecting to be hit by corporations are evil. Are you a cog in the machine? No. Yes.
Are you
Um,
a cog in the machine?
so I was not ready for that. I don't dislike it. It's just it was a really weird whiplash at the end of the first episode to see these weird like AI things walking around, and then in episode 2 to be like, this is all a game, but it's not a game, but it is a game. Uh,
Yeah, it was really like I enjoyed this show a lot. And one thing I wanted to touch on when Kaburagi like reboots and decides that he wants to keep on living, because I think he was gonna literally like not necessarily end his life, but let his like I don't
shut
know
down.
battery run out. He stuck the canister up his pooper. That's where his port was, by the way. I thought that was a funny little detail.
Hey man,
Um,
gotta
but
do
I
what you gotta
think
do.
you gotta do what you gotta do. Stuck it up his pooper. But I like the show. I think it was a really like weird turn, and it was sort of an interesting thing to go from like this like sort of the apocalypse has happened, now the humans are struggling to survive, to oh yeah, also it's a game run by cyborgs from space.
The thing that really messed with me was Kaburagi, because he's shown to be one of these players, but he's also a human because he's taking on that persona because that's what he's ordered to do. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it seems like all of the tankers and humans, because interchangeable term, are actual people. They aren't like people don't play as tankers,
Yeah, I think
or
they said at
maybe
one
they
point
do.
well, there is this. I don't think they play as humans, because there's this one thing. It was like some halfway through like the second episode, I believe it was like an
Yeah.
ad for the game. And it's like
Yes.
play alongside this rare, almost extinct race
Yeah,
of
that's what it was.
humans and stuff like that. So
Yeah, so they don't play as tankers. So like Kaburagi was. It took me a bit to get used to what he was, and that he's like this exception to the human rule kind of thing, where like
Yeah.
he's the only one that's not, who looks like a human, but he really isn't.
Yeah. I think it's funny because you have like for example, the like real big like juxtaposition of like the game where Kaburagi is trying to train, our main character. I forget her name.
Natsumi.
Natsumi. He's trying to train Natsumi, and like he's telling her, "Oh, there must be a nest nearby," but it's really just a training area for the game, so they
Yeah.
constantly respawn,
She's
and
like,
they
this
keep.
is insane, and he's like, it's just a tutorial area. What?
Yeah. So like she's like freaking out. She's like, "Oh, there must be more nearby," but he's just like, "It's the tutorial area."
Yeah, this show's really good. I literally had to make sure I was watching the right show during the second episode because I turned away to write notes and I came back. It was completely different. And I went, "Oh my god, what?" And I scrolled up, was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay."
I was really not ready for this, but I like it. It took a while to grow on me, but I like it. It doesn't.
I had expectations, and my expectations were subverted.
Yeah, there's a really good moment in episode 2, in the end, either the end of 2 or the beginning of 3, where Natsumi, they go to the area where all like the other race is, and she gets up, and there's a skin customization stall for the
Yeah.
players because they can change the color of their skin, and she's like, "What is this?" and then just walks away. And like that level, and I like those small things like that where it is, you have a human who's trying to interact, which we're shown can happen because we have this really badass Kurenai, but Kurenai's a really cool like human leader of the group.
Well, he could. What I'm thinking he might be is another one like Kaburagi, where
That's
it's
true, she could be.
yeah.
I
Um,
And then
really
maybe
enjoyed.
Natsu
or
might be also.
even the guy who's in charge of like the command center or
Yeah,
whatever, he
he
could
might
also be
also
one.
be.
Yes, but I really enjoyed the Decadence thing itself when it was priming up
It's
like when it
funny.
was against the
Sucker
big
punch.
thing, right? Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like a dope cannon or something. I think to like open up and like Death
Looks like it's
Star it.
charging this laser, and you
Yeah,
see like
and
this
then
huge flame,
and then it just punches it.
Just
and
square
it
in the
looks like
jaw.
it does nothing, and then it just slowly evaporates it, and I'm like, that
Yeah,
was cool. And
it
then like
actually was
probably
really really cool.
that probably killed more people than the monsters did.
Anyway, I like the show.
I think Kaburagi is a really interesting character. I like Natsumi too, but Kaburagi's definitely the character I like a lot more. He's a lot of interesting things about him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
favorite duo is those two this season
The-
so far. I really like how both their
Favorite duo.
characters cause like they do that thing where she's like the annoying one and he's like the hard ass, but it's not like overbearing. And
Mhm.
like sometimes they switch roles
Oh,
where
right.
the times of caring switches, and it's like, oh no, now
Are you
he's
telling
worried
me
about her.
that there's a duo
No,
also in this
stop,
season who's
stop,
a hard
stop,
ass
stop,
and a?
stop,
Oh, okay, we'll get
stop,
there.
stop, knock it off. I hate you. Next
But
show. The show's
Dylan,
good.
talk to us about Gibiate.
Okay, Gibiate. So we've only watched 2 episodes from this show so far, but this show is about a post-apocalyptic, like zombie apocalypse, but not zombies. Instead, it's like this like human virus that turns people into these monsters that are like CGI and like super weird looking. Um,
Mhm.
but apparently they can vary based on like your age, sex, gender, as we learn. But it's the story follows well, initially this girl who wants to find the cure for this disease, but what end up really they end up following for the first 2 episodes are these two samurais that time travel or something
One's a
to get.
shinobi, which I think is
Ninja.
specifically different. Yeah.
One's a ninja, one's a samurai.
Yeah, but they're both from the same time
They're
period.
both from the Edo period.
Yeah. So they have two different fighting styles, two different ways that they fight, and they were also part of two different like clans back then that used to like be enemies, but like they were just like henchmen of their lords, so they didn't really have any malice towards each other. So they kind of like buddy buddy as they go through like this new I think it's like 2030 where it takes place, so it's a little in the
Yep.
future of
Yeah.
us.
So a
But
little bit after the world's ravaged by COVID. It's COVID part 2.
Yeah, there's a little bit of this is an odd show
COVID,
to watch right now, but
COVID 20.
yeah. So they go about like fighting these monsters, learning about them. They meet the chick who's trying to find the cure, and then this other old guy. And the old guy's like, "Oh, you're a fucking samurai. I'll get you my sword. Bye." And it's like,
fucking weird.
it's like okay. And then they drive off, and like you don't see them. They don't fucking like work. And it takes them like 8 hours to get the sword. By the way, it's
Yeah, I
like
don't understand why it took him so long, but
Yeah, I think it took
um.
him almost a whole day to get that fucking sword. But
yeah.
So you find out that the Gibiates are afraid of light, so they go to this camp where it's run by like a marine and a few other peoples, and they meet this doctor who the main character chick is working under to find this cure. She
I
gets
thought
a
it was her
blood sample
mom.
from that Gibiate. Or the
Her mom
mom,
also works with him, but she seems to just be
Oh,
a
okay.
regular
There's two different
doctor.
people.
but
Okay.
she also is like mentally broken, and that like she can't see Gibiate as separate from humans or something like that. Like she's like
Yes.
mentally like something's wrong with her, but like she seems normal, which is weird. So
I have a theory about that, but
we'll get to that.
yeah.
So we find out that the Gibiates are afraid of light. So at nighttime they turn on lights on, and then there's a power outage. Who would have thunk that this would have happened, right? So a power outage occurs. The Gibiates start attacking the town. The samurai dude's like, "I can fight, but I don't have my weapon." And then it cuts to like the old guy running with the sword, and he's like, "I'll give you the weapon." Gives him the weapon, and then instantly gets like fucking stabbed by like the stinger of the Gibiate, which the only way to spread the Gibiate virus is to get stung by their stinger. But the stinger refreshes every 24 hours, so you have like a cooldown period.
Hmm.
That's got to come in later somehow. I don't know
Yep.
why they would say that if it didn't matter.
A Gibiate's refractory period is 24
We
hours.
have a lot of
Yeah,
really weird rules.
there are. And it's like, oh, that was the cool part. You know you're infected if you hear the dripping of water. It sounds so freaking ominous now. Like I'm thinking about it. Like it's next time I hear the dripping of water, I'm gonna start freaking out.
And the
But
idea is that the closer you are, the faster in between drips it is.
yeah. So the old guy gets stung, and then they have to like fight, and the dude gets a sword, and he literally just goes sicko mode on everything. There was a point where this flying thing came down and stung him and like kind of took away the old guy, that they all of a sudden decided to just complete freeze frame JoJo pose on the screen, which looked dope, but just
Mhm.
heavy reminded me of JoJo. Samurai guy goes off, starts cutting shit up. The shinobi dude has hand grenades, so he's just like seeping in
Yucking
and out of the
hand
shadows,
grenades.
yucking hand grenades at people. Um, they fend off the invasion. They get the lights to work or something. Or they evacuate. I don't think they
Thought they
actually
set
get the
the
lights to
tents
work.
on fire.
They
Set the
make it
tents on
till
fire.
morning.
That's
Oh
right. Yeah.
yeah.
The old guy gets stung, so he's slowly getting infected. So the end of the episode is him like basically saying his goodbyes as the samurai guy kills him. He's like, "Oh, I don't want anyone else killing me other than you right now. Like that was awesome." So rest in peace, Maeda. Then now, well, that was kind of the end of the episode.
We do get an after scene at the very end, which shows this Gibeah stalking prey and about to kill a family. And we also get this weird scene of like these two guys who are like, "We're running out of food. We must go to the countryside where there will definitely be more food."
I thought for me, like it seems like they were the ones hunting down the people. Like they were like people who could turn in
Think like
between Gibiate.
villains.
I thought that maybe they were the ones who set up the lights to go out.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't get the vibe
thought
that they could go between it though.
I got the feeling because they're like, oh, we should go to the countryside where there's more food, and then we cut immediately to the Gibiate like murdering like an entire family.
Yeah,
I
but I
thought
felt
perhaps
that was still in the city, which is the only reason I didn't go there. But I mean, maybe.
It's the show is confusing. Don't get me wrong. The show's pretty
yeah,
confusing.
I don't really
We
like
only
it.
we have 2 episodes. I so far enjoy it. I think it
I
has a
don't
lot of
like the art
potential.
style. It feels
That's
very
fair.
awful to look at, and
That's
like
fair.
the monsters are really like awful to look at, and like
I think that's the point.
it seems it literally a lot of the show seems like a lot of what's happening is like it was summed up pretty well with the shinobi like dyeing his hair blue.
It's
When
cool.
asked when asked why, he said because it's cool, and that's what the show feels like it's trying to do.
They have
There's
their
big
glow ups.
monsters.
He has.
There's like samurai and ninjas. Why? Because it's cool.
I like these two I like these two characters. I like the shinobi and the samurai. I don't hate Kathleen as a character. I hope she does things. That's my only worry with her.
She so far is the most tolerable character
What do you mean? Sensu doesn't talk at all. How is he intolerable? He's just a
because I
samurai who
hate
goes.
the way he looks.
He's a samurai who goes unga bunga.
It's really close to like season 2, season 1 JoJo,
JoJo,
which
it
is
has
why
that
I vibe
color
with it.
grading. It has
Yeah,
that color grading.
which is why I vibe with it so hard, probably.
Like
But
the
like,
art
I can
style is
see why you
really
don't.
sharp and edgy. Like
Yeah,
My biggest problem with this show is that very clearly because the monsters are CG, they don't get to just do full scale straight through action shots. A lot of it gets cut to like be focusing on the blade or the after impact. Like I want better action out of the show. And I'm just not gonna get it because because of how they're using the CG monsters. So I hope I see some cool things. I kind of hope we get some tension between some of the actual human characters to see action. Man, these Marines are useless. Why even bother with guns, bro?
Other stormtroopers in this show.
They're stormtroopers. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't hate this show. It is definitely lacking on on some. It has a good pacing. I think this show might have some of the most things happen in it, and it only had 2 episodes.
arguably, that depending on who you are, it may not make it the best pacing.
That is true, but there things definitely happen in this show, which plus
It's fair, but
it could go either way with me. This is a show that's
Yeah.
kind of sitting on a coin flip.
This,
Yeah.
it's, I don't hate it, I don't love it, but I think 2 episodes doesn't give it too much justice. I definitely want to see more, see where this goes, because if it continues like just being like too, if it's too mysterious and we don't get anything, then yeah, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? But like so far, I think it's cool. I thought the second episode was really cool.
I'm gonna
So
try
Great
to.
Pretender.
I'm gonna try to blitz through some of this. Great Pretender is a really hard show to talk about. Basically, we follow a Japanese. The main character's Japanese. He's like his father seems to have been caught up in some crime, and thus he has a hard time finding jobs and winds up becoming a scam artist. We figured this out by the 3rd episode, I believe. And basically, like he basically has nothing left for him in Japan, so he's just kind of being a scam artist to get by. And they do the scam in the beginning, and then he tries to do a scam with this foreigner he meets, where he tries to get him to pay for a wallet that has fake money in it, but it looks like it has a lot of money in it. And then he finds out he's actually been scammed by the foreigner, so he goes to chase him down after some police bang on his door, and he winds up getting in the taxi with him, figures out that he's a scam artist and that he's from America, and they fly to LA. And then we are currently in this arc with this movie producer, director, who's also a drug dealer, and they're trying to scam him. And we have our main 3 characters. I like the cast. I like the plot. This is very much a show that's going, okay, here are your characters. Here's what they're doing, and now there's layers of how this has to go, because you have to keep outmaneuvering the next person above you who gets involved. There are a lot of ways this show could go. It's really hard to talk about it. It's honestly a show that's better to watch than it is to discuss, because literally every layer is, here's the next part of my scam, and here's how I thought about it, and here's how it ties into the next part of the scam. Oh well, I'm gonna do my own part of the scam, which escalates it higher. I don't know how long we're gonna be on this director plot line. I feel like it can only be for like another episode, maybe 2, pushing it. I just want to know how deep these scams go, cause man, they really start to think things out. I don't know how they go so deep. The art's good. I love it. It has a unique style. The music's really good. Deca-Dence also had really good music. But I mean, the show's just nice to look at, and I don't really have a lot else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, so far I actually really like it. It's it's funny, I like the way our main character interacts with the other people and stuff like that. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's pretty solid from what I've seen. A lot of the like quips and stuff like that, and the humor is good.
Yeah, it's an interesting show. A lot of it is like, oh, you're scamming someone who deserves to be scammed, but kind of the people who are scamming also deserve to be scammed. So it's nice to see that like at the end of the 3rd episode we get a solid like quote unquote bad guy with the FBI lady, something Dickens. I just remember Dickens.
Paula.
Paula Dickens.
Yeah. So I do like how she's like gonna be like the one that like is actually gonna get this plot moving, because right now it's just a lot of
Hopefully.
scamming on scams on scams
Hopefully
on
she's not a
scams.
scammer.
Hopefully, oh my
Um,
god, don't even get me started on that. But yeah, so I like this plot so far with the movie producer, or the director. I think it's gonna come to a head. I hope that they kinda end this one by next episode though, because if they drag on this like movie director thing for like another 2 episodes, it's gonna feel really slow. I want to see
Yeah.
more of what like this scamming company in America has. I want to see like more of what they do. I want to see like more of their base of operations and stuff. Why they're doing it other than just for money? There's got to be a reason they're doing it, right? But yeah, I do like the action scenes. The car chase was really cool. That was really cool. I think this show has no reason to be leaving anytime soon. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good show.
That's how I feel.
So,
Talk to me about Lapis.
Lapis.
Relight.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Tell me about Lapis, though. We had 3 episodes.
Yes. So Lapis Relights is about a show of this chick. It's the main character. Name's Tiara, right? 'Cause
Yep.
she wears a
Tiara.
tiara.
She
Go figure.
wears.
I mean, right.
Going in, and what she wants to do is she wants to be a witch. And basically what a witch is I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue.
So
But
far,
the
we've
third
seen
episode,
chemistry and like all
they
these
they
different
they
things.
kind of do everything at this point. But it's basically like a school anime where like they go and they have to like compete with the other people in the school. She gets assigned to a group. You find out by the end of that first episode is dead last. They suck, right? And they're like, shit, we suck. How do we not suck? And they're like, oh, we just got to get points. It's like, all right, how do we get points? And the second episode is them not getting points. It's just them losing points. Which I don't know if that like if you can go negative, but whatever. So there's a lot of characters in Lapis. I'm not gonna name all of them, but basically there's a lot of like they seem to like pair up a lot in terms of their relationships and then interact with each other in those pairs. The third episode was really interesting. Oh, there's like this ranking system too, I should mention. There's Noir, Rogue, and Lapis. Those are the three ranks. Lapis is the lowest, Rogue is in the middle, Noir is the highest. And basically, like the higher you are, the like earlier you get to do things, like the better, basically better school experience you get. You just get more perks. So everyone wants to be Noirs, basically. And so like their magic, they like never use. Except in the third episode where it's dodgeball, what they call it, bump ball. Where they basically the whole episode is just them playing fucking dodgeball, which honestly was pretty cool. And then they could use like magic to like enhance the speed of the ball, or like use a wall to block it, or use like the main character used grass to like trampoline the ball. It's pretty cool. In terms of what the show is going for, I have no idea. It's not my least favorite show, but I wouldn't mind stopping watching this show because it just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. I don't really know. Maybe I need more episodes to see what's going on here, but like it is definitely not a show that like if I was watching it like week by week, I personally would probably be out by the first episode. But I gotta say, third episode was solid. What do you guys think?
Let me solve your problem, Dylan, of what this show is about. These girls aren't a part of a club or activity yet, and if you ask me, there's only one thing they can join: the orchestra. And by that I mean become a pop idol sensation, because this show's about idols. I'm
It's a
pretty
Moe
confident it's
Idol
an idol
show.
show, and I don't know how we have an idol show that's only shown us one idol group, and it was in the end of the second episode as a special performance, and then didn't give us any music the third episode. It is. I don't hate this show. The characters are interesting. They do a lot of like funny haha moments. That are like, did you know these girls might be lesbians? It's funny, isn't it? Ah.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, it isn't a. It isn't. There's this odd dynamic we haven't explored fully, which I think is where they're gonna go with it, and that is that Tiara is a princess, and that like only somehow Rose and the head of the one of Supernova, one of the noir groups, knows, like they can tell from the tiara that she is a princess.
Yeah.
Surprised. And her older sister, Tiara's older sister, seems to have been it's a well-trained witch who also was probably an idol. So I imagine we're building towards that, and I imagine the group's gonna start earning more points once they start getting into the idol thing. They're like dropping slow hints that the rest of the group also likes music because Ashley hums, that Lavi hums a lot in in this past episode when they play dodgeball. Like she hums in the beginning, so like there's light undertones that they're all somewhat skilled at music, and all their magic runs off sound.
How the
Like they
fuck
have,
did you catch that? I didn't fucking
I
notice she was humming.
She
yeah,
hums a lot.
she hums in the third episode. Yeah.
What's she humming Morse code? Since I know you wrote it down.
Yeah, she was actually casting the "fuck you for not making me a bag" song. It's really good.
Fuck you.
Uh, I like the character dynamics. I think it's interesting. The songs aren't bad. I don't really watch idol shows, so
I didn't know what an idol show was.
I'm expecting this. Oh, Dylan, there's a whole bag of them. I'm expecting this show to eventually go full ham on the idol thing, and that's probably the point where we'll check out, or just when we run out,
Probably.
or just when we run out of things that aren't okay and are just we're out of things that are bad. So now, sorry, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, Lapis, but for now it's okay. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably stays for now. Eventually, it'll leave. For now, it's fine.
Nathan. Oh no, it's Dylan again.
It's me? Again?
Yeah, it's Monster Girl.
Oh,
Tell me
no.
about Monster Girl Doctor.
Oh, God.
Talk to me
Okay.
about. I turned Monster Girl Doctor on, Dylan. I got lore for the first 40 seconds, and then the next 10, I felt like I was watching porn. So talk to me about Monster Girl Doctor.
So, Monster Girl Doctor is probably like the most amazing cinematic masterpiece of animation you're ever gonna watch. And except I'm lying. So, this show is about, and it sounds really simple, right? It's about a doctor who basically has this little clinic, and the world is monsters and humans, and but he specializes in monsters because the monsters apparently don't have any monster doctors, so you need a human doctor for the monsters, right? She has an assistant who is a snake lady who I feel like changes the length of her snake length
It's
every
rather
every
inconsistent.
frame. It's super inconsistent.
It's a very useful tail. I'll give it credit.
Yeah, but like sometimes it's like 4 feet long. She's like, oh, I can't reach, and then other times it's like 80 feet long, and it's like, holy shit.
I think the
Um,
angrier she is, the longer the tail is.
maybe. So what this show does is basically this doctor going around finding people who like have problems. Like these, like the first episode was a centaur, and she didn't wear horseshoes, so he put horseshoes on her, right? The second episode was a mermaid who didn't go in the water enough, so he recommended, why don't you like get in the water more? Here's some like medicine to so your gills don't get too dry. Third episode is a flesh golem, which sounds like a human, but it is a monster. Do not sell yourself short on that. Um, who lost her limbs, so they had to reattach those. The problem of this show comes in that it does not do it in a wholesome manner. Because what ends up happening is a lot of screaming,
A lot
a
of
lot of
moaning.
A lot
a
of
lot of
moaning. An
moaning,
important distinction.
and the doctor gets into a lot of precarious scenarios that he does not seem to realize are precarious.
A lot of wacky scenarios for our boy doctor on female patients.
Dr. Glenn
Dr.
lit
Glenn.
So it really strays the line of it doesn't stray the fucking line. This is borderline at time.
I will say episode 2 is not that bad. Like him feeling the gills is weird, but it after watching episode 1 and 3, it is probably the most tame episode and has the least amount of like the big moment in that one is, oh, he breathes air to her lungs and is technically taking her first kiss. Like
Yeah,
that's the big moment. Episode 2 is probably a
I like to. I
solid
like
episode.
to.
Episode 3 would have been really good. It was kind of an interesting look at what it means to be alive until he sewed her leg back together, and it was literally a scene where she orgasms. Also, also the Lamia is pregnant. What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the spider lady comes in right to the clinic, and the snake lady like has a big crush on the doctor. Right? I mean, everyone has a crush on this doctor. He's the protag, right? So the snake lady is sitting in the shop, and this spider lady comes in. Which, by the way, bro, I swear to God, every female character, first off, has a ton of personality. Just
Except
like
for the mermaid.
10 out of 10 personality.
Well,
And
that's your standard, lolly. You gotta have a lolly in there. It's part of the harem.
so, yeah, Nathan. Anyway, um, the, the problem is that their fucking nipples are like torpedoes coming off the side of their boobs at like fucking
Oh
devil horn
no.
angles. So the spider lady comes in
Oh
to
no.
like basically the spider lady and the snake lady were drinking buddies, right? And she's like, "Oh, where's the doctor?" And her fucking nipple is like a fucking dagger, like fucking 9 o'clock, right? um, but she's talking and she's like, "Oh, the doctor." Well, the doctor's with the flesh goal and basically fucking eating her out. He's like, "Oh, he's probably cheating on you," and then it cuts scenes to the flesh golem moaning her ass off. It's like, oh wow. And so I guess the snake lady decided in the span of like 3 hours where the doctor's gone to get pregnant. And I don't know snake anatomy. I don't
I don't
know
know.
snake
I couldn't
anatomy.
tell you.
That's such a. I don't know snake like maternity lengths, but I'm pretty gestation. That's what I'm thinking of.
There you
I
go.
don't think it's 2 hours. So this is going to be something
I
interesting.
I would like to give one other shout out to the only other good thing besides the mermaid parts of the episode, which is the fact that we have a dragon character named Skadi.
That and she doesn't talk.
She's absolutely a 10,000-year-old dragon lolly. I'm calling it. It's by the book. It's the only way they can write those
What
characters.
fucking books have you been reading, Sean?
It's called Fire Emblem, Dylan, and they always gotta have one of those.
Okay.
It's
I've
also
seen
an
enough
anime.
hentai to know where this is
It's also
going.
an anime thing. This show is. I want to talk more about this show after we've talked about other shows,
I don't want to
because
talk about this show.
this is in a book of what's worse. So I think that's where we have to bookmark the Monster Girl Doctor conversation.
And like they actually like to actually kind of defend the show a little bit. Like they actually talk about like anatomy and like interesting things between the monsters. It's just when they go to actually assess them that it's like, oh, where's my finger going?
I also
Like,
I also don't hate the quirk of the main doctor. That is, he is so engrossed into his job that he just does not give a shit about anything while he does it. Everyone should. Literally, the centaur is like, "Be careful, she might kick you." He's just hanging onto her hoof, like, "Pass me the horseshoe, please. I have a job to do." So Nathan, do me a favor this week. Talk to me about Mr. Love, Queen's Choice.
Mr. Love, Queen's
Oh,
Choice.
I'm gonna do you a solid with character names real
Oh,
quick.
thank God.
Girl's name is first. It's girl, owner of the business.
Watashi?
Yep, her name is Watashi.
Is it?
Victor's
Yep.
the CEO. Lucian's the doctor. Kiro is the idol, and Gavin's the police officer. So there you go.
oh, Gavin.
So,
Good.
first of all, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm not gonna say that. All right. So I was gonna say Watashi is I'm pretty sure the female version of I am or I for females, but
Yep,
that's why I
most
was
likely.
confused why it was Watashi. Anyway, so she is a reporter for or no, not a reporter. She's the owner of a company her father started that makes a TV show called Miracle Finder.
Yep.
And her father ended up dying a few years back. I don't think we ever learned the cause, but it's heavily implied as you get on with the show that he was taken care of by
Black Swan.
Black Swan. And as we get more in depth and stuff like that, into the characters and stuff like that. Which, by the way, if you're not saying that CEO is by far your favorite character so far, I don't know.
You know what?
Victor. Victor is so far my favorite character. He kind of represents a challenge to her, and he saves her life twice now. No, he saves it once. And he's like something called an evol.
An evolver.
An
They're
evolver.
called evolvers. They are superhumans, and their superpowers are called evil. The first chunk of evolver.
They're genetically superior human beings, or they might be modified.
They're just like, yeah, they didn't. I was
Yeah,
so.
let's do this.
fucking
Let's do this one
confused.
together, boys.
I was.
Yeah.
You guys had to help me.
We have.
I didn't know this was a fucking dating sim. I
It
didn't.
is based on a dating sim. Yes.
I didn't. What fucking dating sim were they playing? And they thought that this would be a dating sim. So
So-
that means these are the contenders.
I believe these four are contenders, or Doctor, or Detective, or Idol, and Victor. I don't know if there's more, but the four of them are very clearly meant to be our center four.
Yeah.
We really got two dynamics going on. We have, the main character trying to keep her father's show alive, and Victor saying, "Look, you have to." Basically, Victor says, "I'm cutting your funding because your show's garbage," and she goes, "Wait, give me 5 years and it won't be." And he goes, "Bet." And
5 years.
and then he says, "Okay, your next show has to be trending after it airs, and you have to have a business plan for the next 5 years. Good luck." And we solve one of those problems by episode 2, because the idol she runs into is like, "Yo, retweet, this show's good." And they're good. They're great. And they have the doctor, the Professor Lucian, who knows all about quantum mechanics and can tell you different theories as to why these warping incidents that are the focus of the first 2 episodes could be happening.
But
And
he's a psych. He's psych. He's into psych. He's not even into like quantum mechanics.
It's weird. What we do find out from Victor is that these evolvers exist, and then we get this dynamic of this detective Gavin, who is 2 years older than our main character and went to school with her, is also an evolver, and he controls wind to an enormous degree that he can do anything he fucking wants with it. But he basically talks to Watashi and goes, "What do you want to do? Do you want to tell the world these evolvers exist, Like, do you think that's a good idea? Black Swan exists. You want to die to Black Swan? And she decides, no, but in our program, we'll sneak in the fact that there may be superhumans out there. It's a possibility. And that's kind of where we are. We have, like, she's still on the rise to get her show going. We've met each of these main characters. Lucian, the professor, now moves in next door to her, and we get this odd cliffhang scene with Black Swan where they're like, we must awaken the queen. One more encounter and the queen will be awakened. We will produce the best spawn, is a weird kind of thing it starts to do.
Oh yeah, and they had that like Red Queen hypothesis thing,
Yeah, that's a
like something about running.
a big conversation starter. We must provide best spawn for the queen.
Yeah, this show's really I didn't know it was a dating sim, like I said. So I was like, oh crap. So she's like trying to like get these guys to help her make her show. And then like there's also like this evolver plot and this warp and shit she's trying to figure out. Like, oh, it's so freaking cool. Like I wonder like
So,
how it's gonna work out. And then I find out this whole fucking thing's about dating. God damn it.
so what I do know is because I have a friend who played this because it's a mobile game.
I'm praying for
She's
your friend.
she's told me that it doesn't feel like a dating sim for a very long way into it. So perhaps the show isn't gonna focus too much on the dating aspect until like a couple of scenes here and there in the very end. And if it does that, I might be able to stick with this. It just has to, get a solid plot going again, because it seems like we're gonna do different cases.
Yeah.
I don't know. Victor seems like endgame here. He seems like the one you have to beat, so I think he's the only usable choice in the dating sim. But that's just me.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, if you're not in the Victor camp, who
You're
are
not
you?
Team
Like,
Victor. You
I
gotta
mean,
go.
well, hold on, Gavin.
He
Okay,
is a Chad.
probably the coolest out of all of them. Victor's like,
He's got his
is
ear
like the dude
pierced.
from like 50 Shades of Grey. Like, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Okay, Lucian
Heartthrob.
is too soft-hearted, right? Like,
Yeah,
he's
so
not.
I think he's playing the long con. I think
he's
he
playing
knows
the
more than he's letting on. He's
Gandhi long
probably they're all evolvers.
Lucian
Yeah.
is the nice guy, right?
Yes, he's the
Victor
professor.
is the like controlling billionaire. Hero
Is
is
the child. He's the child. He's
fuck,
literally a
fuck
kid.
Hero. Fuck Hero. And then
You like
Gavin.
potato chips? And then
Wait,
Gavin.
don't fuck Kira. Don't fuck Kira.
Different definition.
I can do what I want. And then
Ga-
Gavin.
Gavin is the childhood friend who also may have
Mhm.
accidentally threatened her and caused her to think that he's not a good person. He also beat up a lot of people and is on the police force because that's what it gets you, people.
Gavin is also an acceptable answer. I don't like Mr. Softheart or the kid.
It's Gavin all the way. Gavin 2020.
Gavin's a hard ass, but I'm sure he has like a soft side to him that we haven't
Oh wow.
yet discovered.
We do see him watching her play piano through a window as he hovers on like probably the second floor watching her play piano when they were in high school.
I did not think that this is where this conversation was heading.
Well, I think those are the thoughts for the show.
But
I mean, I don't think this show is bad. I need to see more of it. 2 episodes
Yeah.
was not enough for this to
True.
know how hard they're gonna go in on the dating sim thing.
Okay, I'll give it that. Sure.
So, Rent a Girlfriend.
Let's talk about Rent a Girlfriend.
Who did that one? Nathan?
Tanner, but I believe I get to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, a high school loner gets into college, meets a girl. They date for about a month. She breaks up with him. He's so sad that he finds this app called Rent a Girlfriend, and he rents a girlfriend for a day, and then he, goes through the date and stuff like that. He ends up renting her again, and then on the second date, he's actually really pissed off about her because he's like, "Why would you do this? It's obviously a fake relationship. This is stupid." Goes off the deep end, then gets a call that his grandmother's in the hospital, I believe, or she wanted to see him. I think she gets put into the hospital that episode. And then he runs off to go see her, and then the girl that he rented, Chizuru, gets drug along over to the hospital. She gets introduced as his girlfriend, and then I believe her grandmother is also there, and they don't actually know that she has this job. So then they get caught up in a lie, and then they have to pretend that they're dating and stuff like that. And then a couple of other things, occur where just people around them start learning that they're dating, even though she is the renter girlfriend, and he keeps renting her out every Wednesday to see his grandmother. And then there is a beach trip where she originally said no to, but she was there with some other friends, and then they see her, and then some wacky shenanigans where she gets almost caught up in a lie several times again has occurred, and then we see some sweet moments between the two of them.
We do also have the other underlying plot point of this show, which is Kazuya's ex, Mami. Mami?
Mammy,
Mammy? They pronounce like it's pronounced Mami.
They say
mommy,
Mommy-chan.
Yeah.
mommy-chan.
I don't know what
Mommy.
her full fucking name is, but yeah.
It's Mami Nanami.
Fuck
She
that.
Say that 3
they
times fast.
yeah, she seems to be making a play to try to break up him and Chizuru because she doesn't know she's a rental girlfriend. And thus, she is being one manipulative character. And at the end of our third episode, we get a scene where she pulls Kazuya aside and kisses him behind a rock, as Chizuru is talking about how she trusts Kazuya.
Big X, big X, big
In their
X.
fake relationship. Definitely a fake relationship. No real feelings here. I like this show.
I like this shit too.
My biggest problem with this show is like the first episode I watched it and I honestly realized, man, I was smiling the whole way through. This was kind of like a very nice show to watch. The second and third episode made me realize that, man, if they don't address some of this main character's problems and issues and he doesn't eventually,
Oh,
take a
yeah.
hardline stance, I'm really gonna hate this show.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because the first episode ends with them going, "You need to stop lying," and he goes, "You're right." And in episode 2, he goes to tell his grandma the truth, starts to do it, and then she goes, "Wait, this is too much. I have to go. We have to play it along again," and then yells at him for continuing the lie when he very clearly was about to solve the problem, and it pulls him back in. And then I understand why his character's doing everything with his ex. I can understand the mentality of not being able to get over her, but there is a level of manipulation that I really hope eventually he picks up on, and I can't imagine if Mommy sticks around as a character who is continually here for the rest of the show as an option for him, my mind's going to not be able to exist because at some point in time, this girl's gotta go. Drown her in the water. It'll
I
be
think
fine.
I think there needs to be like a huge personality change for her for me to be able to like have her around for the rest of the show as an option. If she's just a manipulative bitch that tries to break them up for like the rest of the show and like doesn't actually care about him, I think that's gonna wear on me rather quick.
See, I have a hard time believing she would care about him because her whole personality is a front, and the times we see her as like a real person, she has no emotion, besides hatred and anger, and
Right, which is the personality
she
change.
is subtweeting him on an anonymous Twitter account, bro.
Well, yeah, but through the opening and stuff like that, we see her as a potential love interest for him. We
Yeah,
don't
I
actually
know,
see her as an antagonist.
I know.
So I think maybe eventually something's going to happen, and she's gonna be not a massive bitch.
This I don't hate this show, but I hate the main character of the show
Oh yeah, he's a fucking
so
pussy.
much. It's not even that. He's just so one-dimensional, it hurts. Like Sean said, like there are points where he's like, "I'm gonna change," and he doesn't. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna do no, I'm gonna do that no." Like he just doesn't do anything that he like says he's going to, or that other people tell him to do, which is really frustrating. 'Cause it's like it's the clear, correct thing to do it, but you're just making things worse and worse and worse. And he's like, "Oh, I realized I made things worse, but never make that mistake again. I made it worse again." Like you know what I mean? Like he's just so one-dimensional. It hurts.
He also
He
has
literally
small moments where he does the right thing, and then for no apparent reason, the next moment he's decided he's gonna go back
backtracks.
on it. Like he stands up for his rental girlfriend and has an argument with his ex, and instead of going, "No, I made the right call," he backs down and goes, "But wait, what if I do hook back up with my ex? Maybe that's the play,
Yeah,
folks,
Maybe that's the
folks,
play.
folks. That's never the play. Don't hook back up with your ex.
it's not the play, but
It's not the play."
yeah, and like this half the show is him just going like when anything happens, like his fucking dude friends touch him, he's like
This show does one thing that I really, really like, and it's when there's like a joke scene, they have this like whistle track in the background that I think is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean the show's definitely funny. I mean the only problem is with our main character,
Yeah,
so we'll see how
100%.
that develops.
100%.
I want to see how he develops. I can't stand him if he's gonna be this way the whole show.
It's
Gonna be
gotta
so hard.
happen now. If it doesn't, I hate the show.
Let's. We're all agree with this is it's a good show for now though, right?
Solid.
Good
it's
show
solid.
for now.
Let's talk about a bad show.
Whoa, whoa,
I'm
whoa!
not jumping the gun, am
Bad
I?
show.
Yeah, let's talk about a bad show.
What?
Whoa, hang on.
Oh, this is my favorite show.
This is the
So
best show of the
let's talk
season so
about
far.
Super
Whoever picked
Hxeros.
this is a giga genius.
Super Heroes. It's heroes with an X in it. Did you know that there exists the power of H and Eros? Um, did you ever want Power Rangers? Do you guys know? This is an important question for you too. This is really important. Did you know that the Power Rangers are based off an actual genre of Japanese show?
No,
They're
didn't know
called
that.
Sentais.
Sentai.
Sentais.
Well,
Yeah,
this
this
is
is not
mighty
a
close.
Sentai. This is a hentai, my friends.
This is hentai Power Rangers.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Roll credits.
This show has some of the best animation and music and like if the monsters in Gibiate looked as good, not the same design because I don't want those, but if they looked animated, not CG, but this quality of art in Gibiate, bro, this show has so many small things that are amazing about it, and then in your face are censored tits for 90% of the show.
Which they censor it with stars. They don't even try to like cleverly hide it. They're just like, yep, right there they are.
There is one
Dude.
thing I like about there is like one thing I like about this show, and it's the concept that by taking people's erotic energy, they become trained of all will to do anything fun and will only work and do school. I think that's hilarious. I think everything else about this show is so hard to stomach. The shots are so blatantly bad. The main character he's nothing. He's a blank slate. He's just a human being with muscle. That's
He's
all
a
he
He's
is.
hero.
hilarious.
He's a hero, Sean.
I don't find a lot of things about him
Dude,
funny.
all I'm saying, they got some great animation, great funding, probably. Like, look at the quality
I'm
and
so mad this show has
the-
so much
the
funding.
passion, Sean. They have passion. They have A-list voice actors. The
Let me talk to you about episode 1, Nathan. And the thing I asked it not to do as soon as it started, when I saw our two of our main characters as children, I went, please don't do anything when they're
Don't do it.
kids.
Don't do it. But they didn't.
And then the next 3 episodes, they spend time slowly doing things when they're kids. Slow
Okay, well,
moments that are awkward to watch.
Yes, but there's a show that's worse than this, so fuck you, Sean.
This is gonna be a debate, isn't it? Episode 3 is literally centered on small pixies who steal underwear and with the one girl not having large enough tits, so she takes milk baths. Guys, please, you're telling me this show is
Dude.
good?
Dude, South Park stole underwear. You're calling that a shit show?
Yes.
Stupid ass fucking idiot.
Dude. It's funny. It's got great animation. It's got okay fight scenes. It's not a bad show. It's not the worst here. It's not the worst here. They got good
bookmark
talent.
this.
They got
bookmark
good
it.
talent.
Let's bookmark this.
They got so much talent.
I think there's a couple of other things we have to talk about first. Let's talk about a good. Can we do these next 2 really fast because they're both really good? Are we in agreement of this?
Yeah, I mean the next 2 shows are good. Which would be the God of High School and then the Misfit of Demon Academy.
Dylan, talk to me about God of High School real quick.
God of High School, yeah. So the only thing that really worries me about the show is that there's no fucking high school, but the problem is that it's a shooting exam tournament arc, right? So basically these guys are just like fighting, they're kicking each other's ass, right? And everything's super cool. Fight scenes are amazing. Best fight scenes in my opinion of this whole season so far. The problem comes in where like this show has no problems. It's so good.
The only problems is their massive schnoz that they got on every character.
Their noses are weird.
Their noses are so bad, man.
There's only like one thing I want to talk about, and it's like episode 3, because episode 3 is so good. Like the fights are good. We get to see things of we've gotten to see things of all 3 of our main characters that make them interesting.
Yep.
I just want to be a real huge nerd right now. We haven't gotten to see the 4th secret technique that Daiwei has.
Yes.
It's the Azure. It's going to be called Azure Dragon because it's based off the 4 cardinal. It's based off the 4 guardians or auspicious beast in Japanese lore, and there's one for each cardinal direction and for a color, and then there's also like a center concept known as the yellow dragon. So bro, he is gonna pop off so hard when we see those other 2.
I like the fact that this is my last thing, but like I like the fact that we actually are starting with a character that has some ability to fight because
he's
my lord,
overpowered.
He's overpowered, but thank fuck. I'm so tired of the slow ramping up in power that we see out of most shows today.
Yep.
Dude,
it's like they start out as like giga pussies, and then they actually get skills. But now we're just starting at the top, and we have
Yeah.
even better places to
This
go.
show's power ceiling is gonna be insane. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
non-existent by the end of it, dude.
It's even
Like, he's
crazier
overpowered,
about
but
it.
he got his
Go ahead.
ass kicked. So
Yeah, it's even crazier that because it seems like throughout like the show, like he doesn't look as strong as he is, but he always like just puts enough effort in to match or slightly beat the next guy. So it's just like, oh, there's no way he can do anything. Oh my god, he's going ham, right?
dude, I
But
love how he slapped
banana.
the shit off green
So
guy.
And
The
then,
fucking administrator he had to fight. He literally is like, I'll take these, takes his glasses off and pushes them onto the ground.
we also have some
Excellent. A plus.
we have some funky supernatural shit going on too.
well,
Yeah.
and about that, so the
It
green
has
guy
his eyes.
fucking possesses a demon. It has the same eyes as Jin, the main character.
We have
Yeah.
this term that's being thrown around, Charioker. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce it right. I'm so sorry. They mention it when talking about the handprint that Park leaves on the island, and they mention it again when Kong's fighting because like he's told by someone that he's not ready to reach that level, and then we see those people as
Yes.
a cult at the end. There's one. They were really strange batch of characters.
Yeah.
Well,
This
and
show's great.
the dude in the straitjacket who like covered his arms up till the
That's
end
Kong, yeah.
when Jin beat him in that fight, he started to apparate that shadow shit, but didn't
Mhm.
apparate like a Visage or anything like the other dude did with his like the fucking scythe
Yeah.
Joker. It's cool shit. It's cool shit. Good
This
show.
show's
Good
sweet.
show.
Show's so good.
I don't really think there's much more to talk about. It's a
That's
good
not even
freaking show.
talking about the first and second episodes, which are really good. The best
Yeah.
scene in the second episode is the triple kick. 'Cause that shit's wild, bro.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
leaves
so
him
good.
in the
So
dust.
good.
I thought that
Nathan,
one guy was gonna be the main antagonist, but he ended up getting his shit kicked in, and then he fucking is now in the mental hospital, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. These characters are super interesting. I like each of their concepts and designs, even like the ones who are getting jobbed by the main cast.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, like if you can put that much personality into characters that get their shit kicked in, I want to know what the main antagonist and stuff is gonna look like. Like who's
so
gonna be? It's probably gonna be like Park.
hear me out. I'm pretty sure with the way the tournament's structured, I'm pretty sure Mira and Daiwei are on the same side of the bracket, and then Jin's on the other side. And if I saw the bracket right, I'm pretty sure Park's in the tournament
I saw that too. Yeah, I
because
think
his
he is.
Mr. Park is slated in part of the bracket. So if the tournament winds up being semifinals, those four, holy shit, bro! I'm not gonna be able to handle that this soon.
Yeah.
Like this show has to have like next level stuff ready to go after this base tournament. I don't even. That's so good, dude. Nathan,
All right. So
tell me
the
about.
Misfit of Demon Academy.
Yeah. Speaking of high power ceilings.
So again, we got another refreshing look at a different way to present sort of the power trip that shows that we usually see. This isn't your slow ramping up show. Once again, we have another power ceiling that's probably going to be astronomically high. We're already starting with a grossly overpowered main character, Anos. We see that timing's been tempered with, I guess. And he was the original Demon King. He sacrificed himself to bring peace to his kingdom and stuff like that. Reincarnated, went from fetus to full-grown academy student in a month. I love his parents.
His parents are
so
so
much.
good.
The best part about the show.
My son's
we
brought
see
2
him.
wives home.
My son's brought 2 wives home. His mushroom au gratin, which is basically cheesy mushrooms, and we see him fix like different problems with like huge like amounts of magic and like huge amounts of like talent and shit like that. And I think this so far is a banger of a show.
It has twists already with characters. Episode 3 gives us a good twist between the sisters. Just the concept of a revived demon lord and the beginning of like the demon family line, the person who's literally was at the founder of the whole race, coming back and then going, why don't you people know me? Why don't you understand how strong I am? So powerful. How is there this dissonance in your brain that I'm not the demon lord reincarnate? You know I'm supposed to reincarnate this year. What are you doing? And then we find out that literally history's just been misconstrued the whole way, and someone might also be trying to do it purposely.
Yeah.
It's
I'm excited
really
to
cool.
see.
Episode 3 ends with us
I've
knowing that Misha's supposed to
only
disappear.
watched 3.
Yeah.
Misha's supposed to disappear at the end of episode 3.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's
I
what
guess you
she
guys
says. She says she's supposed to
missed an
disappear.
episode.
No.
Didn't we watch 4 for another
No,
episode show?
no. We've only watched 3.
Okay.
We'll clarify that. We'll make sure that we're clarified on
All right.
episode
We'll
counts.
we'll
That's
work on
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we end on Misha knowing that she is supposed. Misha tells us she's gonna disappear.
Sasha
Yeah.
tells us Misha's supposed to disappear.
No, Sasha runs away and Misha tells Anos that she's going to disappear on her 15th birthday, which is in like the next hour or something, and then that she's never existed. She wasn't like there was no person known as her.
Yeah.
So
it's a very interesting show. I mean, the show presents a lot of problems for our main demon lord to solve, and he does them each way very uniquely, and it very much a display of power. And he's a very cool character, and I enjoy having an overpowered main character. Like, it's been a while since I've seen a show start like that, and then how high can they go, right? I love his family. I love the character. I love the show, and I love the setting it's given us. I thought it was hilarious when he like walks up to one of the 7 like, I don't know, pillars, I guess. I forget what they're called. Elders. One of the 7 elders, and he's like, "What's up, bitch? You remember me?" And he's like, "Nah, son." And then he like reverts him back in time, and the teacher's freaking out the whole time. And I think that's funny.
Dylan, anything you want to comment on?
This show's funny. I like it too much. He's like, my name is Anos Voldegard or something like that, and they're like, oh, that's really close to our actual leader's name, Aros or whatever. Rillavere or
yeah,
something.
however they change it.
What?
Yeah.
The show's funny. I like the whole like oh, I know all this shit because I made it kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I love his humor of he walks in, hello, I'm going to slaughter all of you.
Yeah.
What? That joke killed 2,000 years ago.
No, yeah, I think it's the funniest show in my opinion.
I like the show a lot. I'm really glad I
Also,
ended up picking this one.
We're slated to see the reincarnation of the human too, probably from the way they
Yes,
talked in that one.
That would be really cool.
Very pumped to see a couple of other things maybe come back, and we haven't met any of the dragons or fairies either, or celestials or fairies. I think is what it is.
I think Misha might be one of the reincarnates from before, because there was one where it's like, or no, that was the human. If I was reincarnated, I'd love to be your friend again, or something like that. But I think eventually we're gonna see all of those people reincarnated, and that's gonna be like his team. Whether or not they're reincarnated into the demon empire is different.
The conflict probably has to be this person who's pretending to be him. So I'm pumped for this show. What
if it's the human?
It would be interesting.
That would be real interesting.
You're human.
Let's talk about.
Oh no, please.
Nathan, talk to me about Uzaki-chan.
Oh. All I got from the show.
Is this the show you guys think is worse than Hentai Heroes?
Yes.
Okay, let's.
God, yes.
Talk to me.
Literally, she's a grade schooler, but she's got big old honka-donks, and
personality.
She's actually a college student, apparently. I don't buy it. She's got wicked personality. Literally like 2 fucking full-grown melons on her chest.
Okay, we get it.
Just big old titties.
Okay.
And that's the show.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're right.
There are just some awful scenes.
So
there's one where they're in a massage chair, and literally the people making the show were like, ah, shit, that might be a little too much, and they added like a note at the top that said, all that's happening is she's getting a massage in the chair. Nothing else is going on.
Yeah, episode 1 we get a lot of scenes that are bad. Episode 2 we get the bush scene. I don't think there's a single scene in episode 3 that's bad.
Okay, I hate the fucking old guy and the new chick duo. I hate them. I hate them so much. So like, I hate every side character in this show too, because all of them go when in the middle of their fucking bouts of like the 2 main characters going at it. They're like, aren't they just so fun to watch? And I'm sitting there screaming at the screen, no, they're not. Shut up.
How do we feel about our main character?
I don't like him. He doesn't have personality.
I like him. I watched the first episode and went, am I supposed to find Uzaki funny? Because I find her the worst person on the fucking planet. On the other hand,
I resonate too much with him about how fucking annoying she is. And Dylan, I disagree. I love the
I like
Uh,
the duo. I
I
think
like the
they
duo.
are
They're
hilarious.
hilarious. They bounce well off of each other, father and daughter.
They literally telepathically communicate.
That's so funny.
Episode 3, I think, is the best episode of this show
Yeah,
so far, and it gives me hope that it has room to not go so hard on the ecchi, because it doesn't. The only scene we get in episode 3 is the water spilling on them, and they don't show anything, which is impressive. I was surprised.
they really like wrangled
It's
it in after the first
it's a nice
episode.
it's a nice episode, and we finally get to see Uzaki-chan not be obnoxious the whole time. She still is for a
If
portion of
that
it.
makes
No,
this
she's
show
obnoxious the
good,
whole
then
time.
you're delusional.
But it just
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
make
this
it
show's
as bad.
awful.
It just doesn't make it as bad as straight porn.
Sean, I'm gonna say
Hentai
this.
Heroes is porn
No.
the whole way through, bro.
No. Wait, is Monster Girl not porn then?
Monster Girl Doctors.
We are sitting on an ethical line here, Sean. The
You're
problem
right.
is that one annoys the shit out of me, and that's worse than being morally wrong.
I at least look at Monster Girl Doctor and Uzaki and go, at least one of each of their 3 episodes gave me a break.
Dude, there was action in the hentai here. All right, I'm
There's
just gonna say it like this.
action.
I'm
It's
just gonna say it like this.
entertaining.
I literally don't see any direction in Uzaki-chan other than them just being fucking annoying.
So the only
There's
thing I see
literally
with
the end of episode 3 is they're getting hypnotized.
it's
Bro.
the only thing I can see with Uzaki-chan, I don't see them even pulling this till the end of the show, is that the reason she does this is because she watched him swim, and then after he got to university, he stopped swimming. So it's almost like he stopped trying at the thing he was passionate about. So she's trying to get him back onto that, but I don't think they're going hard enough into that idea. It could be a misread from me. I don't like Uzaki-chan. It's in my bottom 3.
Yeah, I know what your bottom 3 is.
Yeah, it's not very hard
fucking
to decide
porn.
it.
I could easily tell your bottom
They're
3 are.
all so...
Problem is that this is my bottom 1.
Hear me
This
out.
is my bottom.
What if we slay all 3 of them and then let
Nope,
the wheel decide?
Nope, I
Nope.
need more episodes of Monster Girl Doctor
No, you don't.
and Hentai Heroes. I need one more to decide if it's a good or bad show.
I can't believe I'm gonna lose this argument.
Uzaki-chan.
I mean, it's just a fact. It's just a fact that like if the next episode show, if I literally have to watch one more Uzaki-chan, I'm gonna play it on mute and assume I know what's happening. Because nothing happens.
I think I might get more. I think I might.
You're not wrong.
It's
I might get more
hurting.
enjoyment if I mute the show and try and guess what's happening.
Sean, literally, I could pretend to be the 4th episode of Uzaki-chan for you and just scream in your ear for 20 minutes and then
I'm
tell you to
just thinking of
recap it.
which show that if my family walks in on, I'm gonna get crucified more for out of the 3 of them, and I think the one where the characters are naked for 94% of it is the
Sean,
problem.
Porn is a very natural response to being a youngster going through puberty.
Oh,
all right.
please don't. We're all
we
over
youngsters?
20, Nathan.
We're like-
We're all
Bro,
college students. If
I
we're
don't-
going through puberty, we have a problem.
I mean, anyway, so yeah, so
It's
Uzaki-chan is
very,
the
it's very
worst show.
normal to be curious, Sean.
I'm making a blood pact.
It's very
Please,
clear that
God.
Sean's curious. We've just debated
Please.
from Mr. Love reverse harem for 5 minutes.
I swear to God. I swear to God, if I have to sit through 3 more episodes of fucking hentai Power Rangers, I've crucified the 2 of you by the end of this podcast.
Okay. Well,
So
I think we've
Let's
decided.
I think
submit
I'm ready to
votes.
submit.
Can I
So-
say I can't wait? I can't wait for us to get to the point where we can just talk about the shows that are good. That'll be nice.
That'll be
yeah.
nice.
So
I think
when we
there's a
can
lot of good
spend-
shows this
when we
season.
can spend an hour and a half
Um,
talking about good shows, I can't wait.
I can't wait for all the good shows to be up there. Like I definitely know that like my top 5 are gonna be there. It's gonna be funny. Like at the end when we pick our top 3, Sean's still gonna try and crucify us. When
Oh.
Hentai Heroes is in our top 3.
Yeah, the second Harpies come out in Monster Girl, Sean's all of a sudden gonna think it's the best show.
I'm so trying to get rid of it before the Harpies come around, Dylan, because then your argument is the character's there and you have to keep watching, and I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, Dylan's
I-
sexually attracted to harpies.
Well,
I-
hold on.
I will say,
All right, go ahead.
I can't wait till we get more time to talk about God of High School and Misfit of Demon Academy and, the good shows that we didn't have to rush through, and when we can find a way to put Great Pretender into words. I'm submitting my slays. I'm just gonna slay every show that has that's
I'm
etchy.
just gonna slay every show.
That's my play. I'm just gonna slay every single show with etchy and
All
accept the
right.
fact that you guys aren't gonna do that, and I'm gonna have to watch another
I
week
will
of.
do it next week because there
You're
would
not
be the worst
sure.
shows. The problem is that I literally hate this show so much that I'm putting save on the other shows just to get rid of this
Yeah.
one.
Uh, I think all three of these shows are plunderer level of going, and I
Plunderer
can't
levels
believe
of detestable.
all three of them are.
So,
If we
our last 3 spots, which we all know it was, Uzaki-chan has a 100% slay rate, the only show to have a 100% slay rate. So that's going to be our show going this week.
was it one for the other two?
There's 2 for Monster Girl Doctor and
Oh,
1
thank you
for
for thank you for
Anti-Heroes.
joining me, and thank you for leaving me out to dry, both of you. I thank you guys for joining us on this unfortunate first episode of the summer edition of Anime
Anti-Heroes
Fray
all
Save or
the way.
Slay. Oh, save me.